Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is Melissa Anger. We will go ahead and get started. I will try not to take up too much of your time tonight. So tonight is the 2019 basketball preseason webinar. I also have Steve Bennett on the line with us. He is going to moderate. So if there's any questions, feel free to raise your hand or better yet, type a question into the question section of the taskbar, and Steve will be there to answer any questions you have. And if he thinks it's pertinent to the entire group, he will stop me and we'll go ahead and read everything out to the group. So we'll go ahead and get started. Some of the things we'll go over tonight, talking about our sports management team. We had a couple changes. Talking about the important registration deadlines, team assessment form, competition assessment form, the schedule of events, different college engagements that I have set up for the athletes, go over the rules, and all that fun stuff. So we'll go ahead and get started. So the sports management team, it's all pretty much the same as it has in the past. We recently, this month, added Katie Detweiler, who is a 3v3 coordinator from Montgomery County, and Michelle Jordan, who is the 5v5 player development coordinator from Howard County. So please welcome them, along with our amazing other group, rest of the group. Also, we are looking for a new athlete representative. Our last athlete representative, Andy Robillard, has decided to step down, which is fine. He has a lot of stuff going on, so we just want to make sure he's still good. But we would like to add a new athlete. So if you know someone that you think could fill this role, where they'd be able to join by webinars and meetings, be able to speak up and with coaches and coordinators and officials on the line in a respectful way, or just have that confidence to be able to speak. They can speak clearly. Here's a link to the nominations. So go ahead and fill this out if you believe you have someone that would be a good fit. This is at the beginning of every one of our webinars. It should be well known, and it should have sunk in with everyone. No athlete or volunteer may participate in any manner within Special Olympics, that is practice or games, if they do not have a valid medical or volunteer application. So they cannot start practice until they have that volunteer application or medical in. Okay, this is extremely important. Some of the deadlines for 2019, the training registration deadline. So this is where your GMS coordinator for your area puts everyone into the training, 2019 training combined in GMS, which is open now. By February 1st, all team assessments are due to me. By February 4th, which is that following Monday, everyone is the last date for missing forms to be submitted. If you submit something after that, very good chance they're not going to be able to participate. This is only if someone's medical or volunteer application expires during the season, but after this deadline. By this deadline, everyone, volunteers, coaches, UFI partners, athletes, has to have a valid medical or volunteer application through the end of the season, which is March 31st. February 14th is the competition deadline. So this is for coaches and GMS coordinators to put the individual skills in their event. So the rosters I will put in, or someone from Special Olympics Maryland will put them into the event if they are playing 3-on-3 or 5-on-5. If they're in individual skills, the area must put them into level 1 or level 2 skills. by this date. Team assessment forms. So we're using the same ones last year. It's a little change. So if you send me the one from last year, not going to count. I'm going to send you this new form tomorrow with the slides. So please, please, please make sure you use the new form. The sports management team and I have really worked to help make this form even better than ever. So the new section for the team assessment are the foul shots. Now this is only for 5-on-5 traditional and unified. This is not for any 3-on-3 team, and this is not for 5-on-5 player development. This is only for 5-on-5 traditional and unified. No other levels shoot foul shots. Traditional and unified 5-on-5 will shoot foul shots. So if you coach 5-on-5 traditional or unified, this needs to be added into that. On the summary page, which is the page that I need to receive, do not send me all the individual forms, which is this one. I don't need to see all these because all this information gets put onto the summary page. This is the only page I need. Something that's new this year, obviously the foul shots I added into the summary page, as well as the question, is the skill level approximately the same as last season? Yes or no? If no, is the team higher or lower? Just let me know so it helps us with divisioning for the first few competitions. So please, please, please fill this out fully and complete. This is how we division for the first few competitions. So this is extremely important that this is completely 100% filled out. If it's not filled out when you send it to me, I will send it back, and it will not count, and I will not have your roster until the correct one is sent in. So please use this new form. I'll send it out tomorrow with the slides. Individual skills, we added this last year in 2018. The new form, actually, I added on this if they're going to be participating at the state tournament, just a yes or no question. It just kind of gives me an idea when divisioning and having an idea of how many athletes we will have. When you send this in, the preliminary score, when you send it in on the first, it is not absolutely needed to have a preliminary score. I will need that sooner or later, but by the first, I don't need a preliminary score. So please don't hold this up if you don't have those scores yet. If you do, great, put it in, and they can be updated. So that's not an issue. So if you put something in, but it changes before the state tournament, that is 100% fine, not a problem. Competition assessment form. I created this form during the soccer season this year, and it's just an extra way for me to get more coaches' input. So it's not required for you to do this. I don't want you to think of this as extra work for you. This would be done during each qualifier and competition throughout the season to let me know what your thoughts of the game was and the matchup. Do you think it's a good matchup? Do you think you should play them? Give me comments. Don't just say teams are evenly matched or no, not evenly matched. Well, explain why you think they're not evenly matched. I will send this out as well, but I will also have hard copies with me at all the different competitions. So this is just, like I said, an extra way for me to get coaches' input on matchups. As you guys all should know, I try to get as much coaches' input as I can with divisioning nights and now these new assessment forms. It's able to get us more input from you guys. All right, this long list right here is all of the competitions and qualifiers that we have set as of right now and that people have emailed me about.
Hey, Melissa.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. We did get a comment from Michael Thomas that you're cutting out. I don't know if you can do a quick random pick one or two people to see if they're also hearing you cutting out. It's coming across fine on my line, but it may be worth checking one or two people to see if somebody else is having that same issue.
Yeah, I can do that. Bob Golden, you are unmuted. Can you, if I've been breaking in and out on your side?
No, you sound fine here.
Awesome. Thanks, Bob. All right, it's not letting me unmute anyone else. All right, great. So we'll go ahead and keep going. Hopefully, Mike, you can, it will fix on your end soon, I hope. If not, then, like I said, I'll send out the webinar recording and slides tomorrow. So if you miss anything, you can just look through it or re-listen to it if you would like. Okay, so as I was saying, there's a currently scheduled competitions. Is this long, lovely list? I would like to get more. There's a lot of competitions, which is great, but we obviously want as many as we can. So if you or your area would like to host one, please let me know, and I will get it out to all the coaches. When you're sending in your registration to the contact to say you would like to come, that does not automatically mean that you're enrolled. And you have to wait for them to respond and say, yes, I got you. Also, when you send in the request, please state if your team is a low, medium, high. Try to give a range of where you are so that they can do the best they can to do some matchups. Not everyone is going to have perfect games each time. Especially the beginning of the season, it gets a little choppy. Please bear with us. Those that are running competitions know they usually send me the schedule ahead of time. I check, make sure I don't want to see any different matchups. But please bear with them and get registered for these competitions early. A lot of these competitions fill up very quickly, so you want to make sure that you get in to the ones that you want to go to. And again, don't just assume that you're automatically registered just because you sent an email. Give it a couple days, and the person running the competition, which is this contact, should get back to you and say, got it, you're in. Or, sorry, you're on the wait list, or whatever they need to say. All right? So bear with us on that. Howard County has been gracious enough the last few years to do some league dates, which are listed right here. These will count as qualifiers and competitions. There's too many to put on that last page, as you saw, so I separated them out. But here's the contact information. All these games will take place at Glenelg Country School. Same place they've been the last few years. It's where we host the 3v3 and 5v5 PDU required qualifiers. It's an amazing facility, and Howard County is gracious enough to host all of these for us. All right, so coaches trainings. So as of right now, I'm working to get a couple in-person live coaches trainings set up. Right now, I have one 100% for sure, which is the Washington College one with Coach Alicia Mosley. I've known Coach Mosley for a while now. She's an amazing coach. She's a local Howard County girl. Grew up in Howard County and then played at Wake Forest. So she knows what she's talking about. She coached at Loyola University for a few years, And now for the last, I think, 3 or 4 years, she's been at Washington College in Chestertown. So her and her team are going to be putting on a coaches training and clinic. So that would be a great one. I learn a lot from her as a coach myself, and she knows her stuff. So that would be a great one to go to. The other two I'm still working on finalizing. Tom Gizzi from Notre Dame of Maryland. He did a coach training for us a couple years ago. He has been around for a very long time. He was the head girls basketball coach at McDonough School. Actually coached against me when I was in high school. Then he went to Loyola as well. And he kind of went a couple different places. Now he's the head coach at Notre Dame of Maryland. Like I said, he did a coach's training for us a couple years ago, and it was probably one of the best I've ever been to. If you want to know some stuff, you go to one of these two trainings. These two coaches are amazing. They know their basketball. Coach Diane Richardson from Towson University. I'm hoping to get one set up with her. I'm just waiting to hear back if they're able to do it or not. Once I have these dates finalized, I'll send out information and a registration link to sign up. Notre Dame of Maryland will be sometime in mid-December. I know that's coming up very quickly. I'm just waiting to hear back from the coach. It will be on a Sunday, probably in the mid-afternoon, at Notre Dame of Maryland down in Baltimore City. So once I have these informations finalized, I promise I will let you know.
Melissa, this is Steve. I've got two quick questions maybe you can address. One of them was in regards to the free throws and foul shots being implemented this year. Does that mean that foul shots / free throws will be implemented at all qualifying competitions?
Yes, and I will get to that later, but yes, they will be throughout the entire season.
Okay, and then there was another one, and I apologize, I missed the slide. Bob Golden was asking, it looks like there were 2 required 5v5 qualifiers this year. I'm not sure on the slide if it said that or not.
The required for traditional is on March 3rd at, okay, yeah, I see. March 3rd is the traditional 5v5 required at McDaniel. The 5v5 unified required is at Goucher on the 9th. So I separated unified and traditional again this year, just like last year, to make it a little bit of a shorter day for everyone.
Gotcha. Thank you very much.
Sure. Okay, so as everyone knows, or should know by now, I think, starting last year, we started a divisioning night where I invite some coaches to come to the Special Olympics office and help me with the final divisions for the state tournament. These are the dates. So for 5v5 traditional and unified, the date will be Tuesday, March 19th. We'll have dinner at 6, start everything about 6:30. And then for 3v3 player development and traditional and 5v5 player development, it will be on Thursday, the 21st. And actually, the Wednesday, the 20th, is the pre-competition webinar. So it's a couple straight days of fun basketball. If you are interested, here's the link. I'll send it out an easier way in the email when I send it out tomorrow. But again, this is just for your interest. Just because you sign up for this doesn't mean you're going to be able to come. We usually get a good amount of people interested in coming, and I don't have room for everyone. So I only have a select few spots. So just because you say you're interested, I'm sorry, that doesn't mean you're automatically coming. So if you're interested, please fill out the survey, and I'll be able to select a team that is coming to help out. I think in the past, for the last year and a half, it's been a great help. I know it's been a lot less stress on me getting these divisions set, but they finalize all of our divisions for the state tournament. So it's kind of more of a coach's input as well. You guys are there playing. You guys see all the competition. If I don't happen to get to something, you see everything. So that's why this is a great night for select coaches to come and help with making the final divisions. So again, if you're interested, there's the link to sign up, and I will send it again in the email that I send out tomorrow. All right, so as I said before with when I was talking about the coaches trainings, I've been working very hard to get a lot of outside clinics and different engagements with the local colleges. We have here in Maryland, we're lucky we have a lot of colleges, and they all want to help us and be involved with us, which is great. So the first one, as I mentioned, it was the coaches training, but there's also going to be an athlete clinic, which is going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, Coach Alicia Mosley is an amazing coach. She really knows her stuff. I actually went to watch her team play against McDaniel last night, and the first couple of years at Washington College, she struggled. Last night, they were like a well-oiled machine. They played so well. And so she knows her stuff, and she is great at what she does. So come out. The team will run through the clinic, do some stations, play some unified games. It's a great time. Sign up for it. I think send this link out, and again, I'll send this out a little bit easier for you to get to all your players. But please send this out to all your players so that they have this link. It will be cut off at a certain number. I'm still working with Coach Mosley on that specific number, but typically it'll probably be about 30 to 40 athletes. So usually our clinics fill up pretty quickly. So if your athlete's interested and they're available on the 20th, come on out. That time is just approximate. We're waiting to double check, but it'll be around the early to mid-afternoon for a couple hours. Next one, Notre Dame of Maryland women's basketball. So this one is not a clinic, but they invited 2 teams to come play a mini game at halftime of one of their games on Tuesday the 22nd. It's down in the city. They are playing, I believe, Lycombe College. But it's a great time. They'll get to take place in the pregame with the team. And so they get to line up during the national anthem. They get to be there slapping the girls' hands as they get called on the rosters and the starting 5. And then again, like I said, at halftime, they get to play a little mini game. Notre Dame is pushing this out so that we can get a full crowd there. And they love watching our teams play at halftime. We've done this the last 2 years, and it's always been a great time. The athletes love it. So I'm looking for 2 teams, preferably pretty similar if I can, to play in this halftime game. It'll be like a quick 10, 12-minute game, and then they get to stay and watch the game. It's a free event. So if your team is interested, please let me know. And just so you guys are aware, this does not count as one of your competitions or qualifiers.
And Melissa, we had another just clarification for the clinics that are being offered where the athletes can participate. Is there a target level of skill play for the athletes, or is it pretty much all come, all served, or not skills athletes, but anybody playing 3v3 or 5v5, or if there's some kind of guidance we could give on that?
So for the clinics, for the Washington College clinic, it will be anyone 3v3 and above. If there's a skills athlete that wants to come and participate in the skills section and wants to try to play in a game, that's fine. They're more than welcome to come. And if they or their coach or their parents don't think that they can handle that portion of it, then they just sit on the side and cheer. They can be maybe an honorary coach. But they wouldn't be playing full court, long, like a large court. We would have mini courts going. So anyone can come to the Washington College. We'll open that up to everyone. This Notre Dame one, we will have for 5v5 teams only, please, because it will be a full court game. We also have a game again with Hood women's basketball, so the same as Notre Dame with Maryland. Hood has invited us. Oh, there's the Limecombe. So I'm not sure who Notre Dame is playing at that time. I don't remember, but Hood will be playing Limecombe on Saturday, January 13th, and they have invited us to come, same as Notre Dame, take part in the pregame, and then play a mini game at halftime. So if your team is interested, Hood College is out in Frederick. So if there's a team or two out there or that wants to travel to this because it's on a Saturday, please let me know, and I'll be able to select 2 teams. Hopefully I can get these teams selected by the end of the month. I know these are early in the season and most people are just starting practice. That's okay. Even if you've only had 1 or 2 practices, if that, 100% fine. If your team wants to come out here, it's a great opportunity. It's a lot of fun. The fans really get into it.
Melissa, we just had somebody give a correction on it on the Hood women's basketball. That is actually January 12th is Saturday. And the next slide you'll see Sunday is the 13th. So we'll correct that. Thanks for pointing that out, and we'll correct the slide before we send it out to everyone.
Yep, sorry about that, guys. That's what happens when I have 50-some slides to do. Mix up my dates. I have so much going on for you guys. Okay. Sorry about that. Yes, because Sunday the 13th, we are at Towson for the same type of thing. The teams get to participate in the pre-games with each team, and then at the conclusion of the Towson game, our team gets to play. Our 2 teams get to play. So they get to stay watch the whole Towson game against Hofstra, which is a great competition usually. And then the Towson girls usually come out, sit on the bench, cheer on the athletes. They really get into the game. Towson women's basketball team has been really amazing with us, and they have come out to other competitions outside of basketball and getting involved, and their coaches are great. So this is a great day. It's Special Olympics Maryland Day. So anyone that goes to this game that participates will get free tickets to the game, which is a lot of fun. We had 2 teams. This was the second year we've done this. The 2 teams last year had a blast. They were smiling from ear to ear the entire game. So if your teams are interested in any of these opportunities, please let me know. And again, I'd like to get these set by the end of the year so that I can not stress out too much about them in the beginning of the year. And the clinic that everyone has been waiting for, the 2019 University of Maryland Terps Clinic with the men's basketball team. The date will be Sunday, January 27th at the Xfinity Center. It is a Sunday night. It is actually the day after our Polar Bear Plunge. So just a heads up on that if you attend the plunge. This is the day after the plunge at night. Same thing with the Washington College team or clinic. The skill stations are run by the Terps players, and then there's many unified games where they get to play with the Terps team and a meet and greet with the coaches and the team. The Terps, I think, are more excited about this event than we are, which I know it's hard to believe because I know how much this event is loved. There is only room for 40 athletes. If you attended any of the clinics the last 2 years, you will be put on the wait list if you register. It doesn't mean you're not going to get to come, but you're going to get put on the wait list. So those that haven't come or haven't come in the past 2 years will get a chance. So this one is open to 3v3 traditional and above. So unfortunately, no skills or 3-on-3 player development are able to come to this one. Just because of the level of the event, we had to have 3-on-3 traditional and above for this one. I will send out an email later in December with the registration details for this. So I just wanted to give you the information on this one because I just found out the other day when it's going to be. Please do not have your athletes email me saying they want to come. I will send out registration information, and you send that out to the athletes from there. All right, so I'll send that out in the next week or two with details on how to register for the Terps Clinic if your teams are interested or if your athletes are interested. And both of these clinics are only open to athletes. So unfortunately, Unified Partners aren't able to participate in these. And with the Terps Clinic, we have a limited number of spots available. Each athlete can only bring 2 guests, and those names need to be submitted with the registration. And those are pretty set from there. All right, so like I said, there's a lot going on in those last couple of slides already. So a lot of college engagement. Please review all these before this season once I send them out tomorrow. So now going on some of the actual basketball, Special Olympics basketball processes and rules. Updated from 2018, all teams must attend 3 competitions and qualifiers, the required and 2 others. As you saw, we have 19 or 20 competitions, and I know we're going to have more. You need to go to 3. The athletes have spoken, the coaches have spoken. Everyone wants more competition. That is what I'm trying to give you. We still do need some more because these are going to fill up very quickly. So if your team would like to host a competition, please let me know, and I will be more than happy to get that out to teams with that information so that they can sign up for your competition as well. A third competition can be a home and away series. So say, I'm just making these 2 teams up, say Frederick and Washington County have a great matchup, and they want to play each other in a home and away series at a practice. So Frederick will go to Washington County's practice, they play a game, they send me the scores, and then Washington County goes to a Frederick practice later in the season, bam, you play again. I'm not going to be able to get officials out to those most likely because, as you saw, there's a lot of competitions this season. But I'll do my best and to help you get those officials out there. So please, please, please get your teams to as many competitions as you can. But the minimum is 3. So 1 required qualifier and 2 other competitions. Okay, very important. Some other miscellaneous. As I mentioned before, area programs will enter in the skills into the events. So they'll enter each athlete into their event, which is level 1 or level 2 skills. Please send me the roster that I showed you before and will be sent out tomorrow. And send me any results of any qualifiers and competitions that you have. So with individual skills, you have to do at least 1 in-house and 1 other competition. You don't have to do 3, but individual skills has to do 2. That's the same as in the past. So you have to you can do an in-house, and then please make sure you go to at least 1 other one or host one with multiple counties. The teams, the rosters and team assessments are due to me and that is wrong, it is February 1st, so I will make sure that it gets changed when I send this out. February 1st, all assessments have to be sent to me. And this counts as your final roster. Myself or people from Special Olympics Maryland will enter the teams into GMS, and then I'll send out a team roster for your confirmation. This is very important. Entering all these teams in is a lot, so I do make mistakes. I know, very crazy. But please review that roster because that roster will be used at the state tournament. So if that means that if you confirm that roster and you say, yes, that roster is correct, when I send it out to you, then at the state tournament, you're like, oh, well, so-and-so's missed. Well, sorry, you confirmed it. So please, please, please review that list, look at it over, double check it. If I made a mistake, let me know. This is not an opportunity to change the roster. This is just if I missed someone from your team assessment form. Okay? These are just rule reminders. 3-on-3, traditional and player development. Minimum roster is 5, max is 8. Game time is 2 10-minute halves. It's running clock except the last except the last minute of each half. Timeouts, you get 2 timeouts per game. And it started with a coin flip. Same as always, nothing has changed there. In the rules, it is different in the Special Olympics, the SOI rules for 3-on-3. This slide is how Maryland does 3-on-3. So please follow these rules for 3-on-3. For 5-on-5, traditional, unified, and player development, minimum roster is 8, max is 12. For unified and player development, this includes the unified partners and the mentors. So with those rosters, you cannot have more than 12 people on the team. With unified and player development, you have to have 3 athletes and 2 unified partners / mentors on the court at all times. I do not want to show up to a qualifier and competition and see 4 athletes and 1 partner or any other switch in that. It must be 3 and 2. There is no exceptions to this rule. And if you ask, I'm going to say no. It's the rules. That is not one that we change. Okay, so please ensure if you have a unified or PDU team that your mentors and unified partners are there for the game. There is no switching. If you have multiple unified or player development teams in a county, there's no switching partners from team to team during competitions. They have to be played with the team that they are on the roster with. Okay? Game times. This has changed from last year. We will be doing 2 16-minute halves. Usually we do quarters. Last year at States, we did 2 12-minute halves. We wanted to bump it up so that there's more game time. The clock will be running except for the last 2 minutes of regulation and for player development and for traditional and unified 5v5. All foul shots will be played. The clock will stop on the first foul shot, and when the athlete or partner catches the ball for the second foul shot, so when they get the ball to shoot their second shot, that clock will start. So it's stop clock on the first shot, running clock on the second shot. We stopped it on the first one so that they can get into the right positions. The officials can help get into the right positions. Running on the second one, so it's not holding up the game too long. Okay, so stop clock on the first foul shot. Once the foul is called, the time will stop until they get the ball for the second shot. Then it's running. If it's an and one situation, so they made the basket and then they got fouled at the same time, then the clock will stop until someone on the court touches the ball, because it's only one shot. So once someone on the court touches the ball, clock will start. Timeouts for 5v5, you'll get 2 60-second timeouts per half. They do not carry over. So if you don't use your 2 in the first half, you do not get 4 in the second. It's 2 and 2, no carryover. And the game is started with a jump ball. Just as some additional things, I'm not going to read through all these next couple of slides because it's a lot. Please review them. Not much has really changed. 3-on-3, there's no team or individual fouls, and so no foul shots. The referee can tell you, not ask you, tell you to take out a player if they're being too aggressive. So please listen to our officials. They're there to help, and they are doing what's best for their athletes. So if they believe that there's someone that is going too hard or anything like that, they can say you have to have a substitution for that team. Again, I'm not going to read through these because we're running out of time and we still have a lot more to cover. 5-on-5 traditional unified. The biggest thing on here, pressing backcourt, you are allowed to press. Unless your team is up by 15 points or more, you're allowed to full court press. If you make a gentleman's agreement ahead of time, that's fine, but the officials will not enforce that. That is not their responsibility. As well, the same other thing I just talked about is the foul shots. All competitions for 5v5 traditional and unified, so all qualifiers throughout the season will have foul shots. Okay? Player development, something that's was new during the middle of last season. We implemented it during the season with my sports management team. Is when a team is winning by 20 points or more. I think last year it was 15. We upped it to 20. So if a team is winning by 20 points or more on the scoreboard, the scorekeepers will put the score on the scoreboard to 0-0. No one wants to see 60-20 on the scoreboard. So the score will go back to 0-0 on the scoreboard, but will continue on the score sheet so I have the final real score. Okay, I know this is not typical basketball, and I know it's something that you have to get in with and you have to work with your team on. But this is very important. We don't want blowouts. No one does. But if a team is up by 20 or more, it will go down. If they get close, I'm sorry, that doesn't matter. Once that hits 20-point difference, the clock stops or the game keeps going, but the score gets put to 0-0. Another big thing for player development is at this level there are no fast breaks or pressing. Okay, so that's a big thing. Please, please, please work with your team about that. Some other things, three-pointers are allowed at all levels. So if someone makes a three-pointer, good for them. Counts as 3. Uniforms, they must be matching. So if you have the same jersey, the shorts have to be the same as well. So if they're all black, they have to be all black. You can't have some in all black, some with black and white, some with green and white. They all have to be the same. No pockets. If someone's wearing an undershirt, everyone that's wearing an undershirt has to have the same color and it has to match the uniform. And with leggings or knee pads, like those long knee pads that people like to wear now, they all must be the same color and matching as well. They don't have to be the same color as the undershirt, but they have to match the uniform and they have to match each other. Okay? That is non-negotiable. If there's not matching, I will make someone take them off, or you will decide who's going to take off the leggings under their shorts. No sweatpants can be worn under the shorts. It's only leggings. Okay? No hoodies can be worn under the jersey tops. Please make sure everyone's matching, and this is going to take place at the first competition because this has been a rule for the last couple of years, so I'm going to be forcing it the entire season. Age groups, again, same as always. I'm not going to go through these, but it's been the same as in the past. Coach's code of conduct, as well as just a code of conduct for everyone. There is no trash talking. You will have respect for others. You will make sure there is a positive experience for all. You will act professionally. I shouldn't have to go through this, but I do. Don't degrade your athletes. Don't degrade the other team. Do not yell at my officials. You can ask anyone. I am very, very protective of our officials. Their call is final. You don't like it? I'm sorry. Deal with it. But the way that you act is the way your team is going to act. If you get all crazy and you're jumping up and down, yelling at the official, your team is going to do that. And then they're going to think it's okay to disrespect the officials. It is not. And if I see that happening, there will be consequences. You will treat everyone with respect. The officials make the calls. It is their game. They're here for the athletes. So So you will not disrespect them. Please. They're taking time out of their day, their weekend, to come officiate for you. And most of them are taking a day away from getting paid to officiate to come ref for your games. Say thank you to them. Treat them with respect. Talk to them. They love being there. But do not yell at them. During the games, if you don't like a call, you can calmly talk to them. That is fine. But you will not yell at these officials. If I hear about anything or see it, I will bring you up on the code of conduct, and we will have issues, and we will discuss it. Team captains. Most teams, if not everyone, has a team captain. If you do, send these names to Jason Schrimmel. We like to keep track of them because it's a great leadership opportunity. So if you have team captains on your team, unified partners or athletes, or both, send us those names, please, because we want to make sure they get recognized. Polar Bear Plunge. Get your team in. It's a great team bonding experience. How else are you going to team bond except jumping into the Chesapeake Bay in the middle of January? If you create a team and you raise money, 70% of that money raised will go to your county, and 30% will come to the state. So this is just extra money for your athletes. Even if you don't want to plunge, you raise the money, you guys get to keep most of it, which is a great fundraiser for your area. To register for the plunge, this is how you do it. Like I said, it will be sent out in the slot. I'll send these slides out, so this will be there. It's really simple, and you can share the link. I've already done it on Facebook to get more people to donate to you. All right, Steve, any questions?
There was not necessarily a question, but Kara, I believe, from Howard County was offering up, if there's anybody who has not seen player development, knowing that that's transition from skills and whatever, if you want to come to one of those events to see what player development is, she would be more than willing to offer that up to anybody to come check it out. I know in the past we've had some hesitancies from family members and others that didn't think their athletes were ready for the 5v5 player development, but then once they see the game and see how it's constructed, they say, oh yeah, well that would be a good transition. So I appreciate that offer.
Yes, thank you so much, Kara. And as she said, I mean, it is a very big difference because you're going from half court to full court. If I'm suggesting it, that means I believe your athletes can do it. I'm not going to put an athlete at risk by trying to get them to move up. I'm not going to do that. If I suggest it, and if I come to you specifically and point it out to you, that means that you really should consider it, and within a year or two, it's going to happen anyway, so you might as well jump on board. I know that sounds mean and pushy, but I'm trying to get the athletes to keep moving up. That's what it's about. PDU is a transitional period. That's not supposed to be a spot where everyone just stays. And moving up from half court to full court is a big deal. But we had 3 new teams last year that moved up, and they all did amazing. And all the coaches were shocked, and they did a great job. So if I'm trying to push you up, please take it with a grain of salt, because I'm only here to help your athletes, I promise. Any other questions?
I don't see any. There's one other one that we'll follow up directly with, but I think I've addressed all the questions on here that we've received so far.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions? If you want to raise your hand or ask it on the type of question, now's the time. And also, so the next couple of slides are all the registration forms and procedures. I'm not going to go through these, but please, please, please go through them when I send these out. It's just a lot of administrative stuff that we don't really have time to get all the way through, and I don't want to speed through it and mess it up. But a big thing is everyone has to have their medical. All the athletes have to have a valid medical, fully completed. All volunteers And coaches must have a volunteer application, protective behaviors, up-to-date protective behaviors, and concussion training. And you will send all that information to coaches at somd.org, which is in there. And Unified Partners all Unified Partners, no matter how old they are, must do protective behaviors. And they have to do the volunteer application. Once someone turns 18, that day is when they need a new application. It can't be signed ahead of time because they're not 18, so it's not legal at that point. And once they turn 18 is when we do the background checks. So just so you're aware, be on the lookout for that. If you have any younger Unified Partners or volunteers, once they turn 18, a new application has to be sent in. Okay? So if there's no other questions.
Actually, we had one more, and I apologize, I don't remember on the slide. There's a question for Unified. I'm not sure if that's relation to 5v5 or PDU, and it may be combined. Was there only one scheduled qualifying competition right now for Unified?
So it's a lot of the 5v5 competitions allow Unified and traditional. There are some that are just traditional, and there are some that are just Unified. But most are both. So reach out to the competition director, whoever the contact is on here, if you have a question about that, and they can tell you if your Unified team, if they have others that are registered as well. So that's more, you gotta check with the competition person.
Great, thank you. I don't see any other questions at this time, so I know I don't want to speak for Melissa or I don't want to step on her toes, but from Special Olympics Maryland, again, thank you guys for all taking your time for tonight's webinar and everything you guys do for the athletes and partners year-round, and specifically for the basketball competitions throughout the season and the state championships coming up. So I know it's a lot of time, but again, we're all in this for the athletes and showcase their skills and give them the opportunities to play and train. And we really appreciate the time commitment you guys have done. Without you guys, obviously, we have no competition. So I can't stress it enough how much it means to us to see the enthusiasm and the dedication that you guys serve and give as coaches.
Yes, I will echo that. Thank you guys so much. We have a lot of basketball, and it's a long, draining season, but it's one of my favorites. With the coaches and the athletes and all the competition, it's amazing. So thank you guys all for putting in all this time. And I know adding the requirement to make you guys go to extra competitions is a lot, but it's what the athletes want and it's what they need. So thank you guys for all that you do and all that you're going to do to help with this season and make it great. Thank you guys. Have a good night.